I hope everybody's having a great start to the week so far. My week has kind of gone as I expected so far. It's currently Wednesday, but I do feel like it could have been a little bit more productive. However, last week I decided to commit to playing golf twice, which meant that during the week I'd lost 2 days of work, and then on the weekend I had a stag do on the Saturday and naturally recovering on the Sunday, which kind of also trickled into the Monday a little bit as well. I was advised against it, but I decided that I didn't want to turn down the opportunity to play at Woburn last week, and I'd already committed to playing golf with somebody else. So I ended up playing golf twice. I had to sacrifice something, and last week's YouTube video was that. So I do apologise if anybody missed last week's video. However, we're here now. Golf was good. I played absolutely shockingly on the first day and really well on the second. It's amazing how a 24-hour period can completely change your gameplay. I managed to chip out of a bunker for birdie, which is the kind of stuff you see on tour. I couldn't believe it. Neither could the player I was with, either Steve. He was like, what have you just done? So that felt amazing. That was a first. And yeah, on the first day that I played, I just struggled. It just wasn't connecting, it just wasn't working. Yeah, I probably played one of the worst rounds I've played in a very long time. Anyway, head up, we move on. Today we're going to be doing something that I've wanted to do for a very long time. I know I mentioned on my first video back, I think it was after Christmas, that I had showed an interest and wanted to get to know more about the correct and the practices behind polishing shoes. And so during the festive holidays, I actually went and purchased some kit as well as had some gifted from Lydia. So I'm still yet to use it. I've been using the old stuff that I used to use to polish my shoes. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into A, doing a little bit of learning, but B, also using my new kit. So let's get busy.
I've actually never seen this before. Look at that pheasant as it just reappeared. Absolutely flattened itself down to grass height, which probably talking no more than 2 inches. Just absolutely disappeared. Just flattened itself. Glad I got that on camera.
He's got all of the gear and no idea, and you're actually incorrect. I don't have all of the gear, as surprising as that is. You'd think that polishing a pair of shoes would be relatively straightforward, and with this much equipment, there's no way that I haven't got everything that's available on the market to help with shining your shoes. I'm learning as I'm going, and I've hardly scratched the surface. One thing you would be right on is that I don't actually have an idea about what I'm doing. Let me show you my old polishing setup. I had a polishing brush, I had some black Kiwi shoe polish, my applicator, and then my polishing chamois, and that was it. And it did a relatively okay job. Nobody ever said to me, your shoes look terrible after I polished them. Rather, your shoes look very shiny. So they definitely served their purpose, which begs the question, why have you just gone and brought all of this kit to polish your shoes when you could have really kept it nice and simple? And I guess that there's a few factors that play into that. One of those being that I actually find it quite relaxing. It's quite therapeutic, polishing some shoes. I also would say that I do have a strong interest in tidiness and cleanliness, and I do find having clean shoes quite rewarding. So I think that all kind of like comprises under that one kind of tier. Say the second reason that I want to learn more about polishing shoes are that there are actually lots of different techniques and different ways when you really get into it, that you can go around polishing shoes, and you can actually apply different colors and patterns, you can mix them up, you can create high shines. There are lots more techniques to shoe polishing than I think meets the eye. Originally, people often actually buy brand new pairs of shoes and they will polish them and just make them really fit their style and their taste, which is something that I've never considered before. And so the world of polishing shoes is a lot deeper than I first thought, and as I'm learning more about it and watching videos and tutorials, it's quite fascinating. And I think the third reason that I really am enjoying it is it kind of falls under my eyes as a skill set, as a craft, and something that I really enjoy in life is learning new crafts and skills, and this definitely plays into that. So that's why I have invested in some Saphir shoe polishing equipment, we'll call it. These tools are essentially to help me with different kinds of fabrics and shoes. It's another thing that I didn't touch on. Of course, if you're going to be working on a pair of suede shoes, you're not going to be using the same equipment if you were to work on a pair of leather shoes. And then to move on deeper into that, some shoes are made of horse leather. Those need a different treatment and different products. You can really, go on and on and on with this. And so at the moment, I'm at the very basic level, and I am just purely trying to achieve a pair of nice looking shoes that are nice and smart. And as you just saw, that was one night of wearing my boots out. Well, actually it was a day and a night, and they got absolutely trashed. And that is the reality of wearing shoes out and about. And so to be able to just give them like a weekly clean and a polish up is something that I want to be able to do. And then as we advance a little bit more into this world, we'll perhaps home in our craft and get a little bit more technical. I've already purchased some mirror gloss, which is something that I'll use to help create a nice high shine on the toe and potentially as the heel as well. I've already picked up a brush for suede. There are a couple of different brushes that you'd use to work on your suede. One of them actually being this brush here. So you'd brush your suede with this, you would then use this afterwards to pick up, and then you can apply treatment to those as well. And of course, all of the other kind of bits that you can do, such as water repellent and all of that kind of stuff. So today we're just purely focusing on treating a pair of smooth leather shoes. And so the products that I just showed you we're going to be using today, and the idea is that we're going to try to nourish the boots. So what I would have loved to have done, but I actually don't have, going back to the point that I don't have all of the equipment yet, I would have liked to have properly cleaned the shoes, because they do have a build up of A, another brand's polish, and B, just a load of general stuff that they've picked up over the years. Believe it or not, those boots are actually probably 2 or 3 years old. I would have loved to have applied a proper clean to the shoes, and then we'd have had a nice foundation to work off. Unfortunately, I don't have that. That stuff is now ordered, and so I will do that at some stage. So today we're really just gonna be brushing them down. We're gonna be nourishing the shoes with the Saphir Renovator. This will just help kind of hydrate the shoes again, I guess. We'll then brush that up, and then we will apply some Creme 1925. This is in a color noir, it's the black. We'll leave this for 5 minutes, brush this off, and then we'll move on to the shoe polish, which is where I'll try and lift out a little bit more of a shine on the toe of the shoe. I won't be using the mirror gloss. I'm not quite sure how to use that yet. And also I think that I brought that more in mind for kind of like formal shoes and shoes that I was probably going to wear more with suits. If I had a nice pair of smart black boots, then I would probably apply a mirror shine to those. However, these are more like casual boots. I do wear them with some of my smarter outfits, but that's just purely because I don't own a pair of smarter black boots. So they're the kind of basic steps that we're going to be taking today. All in all, it shouldn't take a huge amount of time to get this pair of boots looking nice again. And yeah, I thought I would just quickly run through with you what it is that I'm going to be doing, and also why, because as I mentioned, you can really simplify this. And if you just want to keep your shoes looking smart, really there are only a few things that you need in your shoe polishing kit from what I've seen online. But if you really want to home in on your craft, if you want to enjoy the process and you want to become more skilled and be able to do more advanced techniques, and you definitely will need to start moving down into this direction, because you are very, very, very limited with this. So that's why we are going to get cracking, and this will be the first time that I'm using a lot of this equipment. So I'm learning, let's do it. polished boot complete, almost as good as new. For boots that are a few years old, I think that they have scrubbed up very nicely. Now, these boots, by the way, are from Church's. They're called the Wootton boot. They've been a staple in Church's footwear collection for as long as I've known. So you can definitely still get your hands on them. Fantastic pair of boots, very versatile. As I mentioned, I didn't actually shine up that toe with a gloss because I don't think that a mirror shine would suit a casual boot. I'm sure it can be done and if styled correctly look wonderful. Personally, for me, this is shiny enough. They won't last this shiny for too long, let me tell you, but I will do a kind of like maintenance on these. That was obviously a learning curve for me. I've not gone through all of those steps before. I know that I can pull quite a good polish with quite a basic routine, so perhaps on like a weekly level or every time I've worn the boots I'll be able to give them like once over, and then maybe every quarter we can go a little bit deeper and use the creme and some of the other products that kind of nourish the shoe and give it a little bit TLC basically, and ultimately prolong the life of the boot, which is something that's obviously really important. In a world where we're trying to consume less, to be able to have a boot that lasts a lot longer by prolonging its life just simply by looking after it, it's a win-win. So anyway, let me know in the comment section what you think, whether you think that they've turned out nicely or not. I'm very happy with the results personally. Now, I have some outfits upstairs whilst we're on fashion, and I wanted to pull them off the rail, show you what I've been working on, and basically go through the 3 looks that I've put together, because today we have partnered with Again and Again Fashion. So let's head upstairs and see the outfits that I've put together for an upcoming reel. Okay, so for anybody that missed last month's video, just a recap. Again and Again Fashion are a Netherlands-based company that focus on circular fashion. All of their clothing is made from 100% recycled textiles, which means there are savings on the processing and production of cotton. The company believe that clothing should be sustainable and affordable, and one of the ways in which they do this is by keeping their inventory low. So when you place an order, they will then order the product to be made, so they don't end up with excess stock that they need to get rid of. With that information in mind, I wanted to produce a Reels video that focused on the idea of the circular fashion, and in doing so, the concept was based around circular camera work. So what we've done is we picked 3 outfits using 1 garment from Again and Again Fashion in each look, and I stayed stationary in the middle whilst my photographer ran around me in circles, showcasing how to style up some of the items that you can pick up from Again and Again. So behind me, you'll see the rack. On here, I've got the outfits laid out ready to show you. The products that I selected to work with were part of their Essentials collection. They do also have a range of items with logos and branding on, but for today, I went with a plain black t-shirt, plain white t-shirt, and a plain black hoodie. So let's dive into seeing how I've styled up each look. So the first outfit, I wanted to showcase how you could take a simple plain black t-shirt and style it up to make it a little bit smarter. One of the ways in which you can do this, of course, is by suiting, and something that I'm really enjoying at the moment, of course, is my more sartorial style. And so I grabbed a suit that I felt complemented the black t-shirt. So this is like I'm gonna say a charcoal, but there is a sort of undertone of blue in here as well. So it kind of has that midnight blue / dark grey kind of tone to it. If you looked closely at the actual weave of this, you'll see that there are a few different colours, which is probably why it's playing with my eyes a little bit. But you can see the contrast is really nice, very subtle, but overall I always feel like these kind of looks give a nice strong silhouette. The weather is still a little bit cold at the moment, so I decided to work with this double-breasted coat. And again, if I just lay that up there, you can see the 3 colours wash really nicely together. That was the foundation of my first look. I then teamed this up with a simple pair of black penny loafers, a classic piece of footwear for your wardrobe. And then the next outfit, I worked with this black hoodie. And so the last time we did the hoodie, we worked with a slightly more smarter look. We went for a shirt underneath, which was, like I said in my video, a little bit Marmite. Some people absolutely love it. Some people were not about it. And so this time around we went for a more casual fit. To start off, I went with a pair of black jeans, just because I wanted to keep my foundation neutral, and in doing so it means you can build on top of that. So for example, if you're somebody that really loves bright colours, having a black foundation means that you can just chuck on a bright pink, yellow, green accessory or jacket and it's just going to work. There's so much versatility with keeping a nice simple base to your look. You know me, not so adventurous with the colour, but we did go for this denim jacket, and so this worked really nicely actually with the hoodie over the top. Something that I'd actually say about the hoodies are they've got nice tailored sleeves, so because they're not too oversized, it meant that I could actually layer up over the top of this hoodie. I could still get my arms in the sleeve without there being too much excess fabric getting in the way, so that was very nice. And then again, because it's cold, I then layered up with this grey overcoat, and this is just like that functional element to the look. And then lastly, footwear for this look were these suede brogue Chelsea boots. So they're again tied in the look really nicely. They've got a grey suede and then they've got the black sole. So we're just keeping a bit of continuity throughout the look. And then the last item from Again and Again Fashion is this classic plain white t-shirt. It's got a really nice neckline to it. And I decided that I wanted to put together a look using these Oxblood tassel loafers. And so this was the base of my look, and then I selected a pair of green trousers. These have actually got a pleat down the front. They've also got a drawstring waistline and turn-ups. So the trousers in themselves are a bit confused as to what they want to be. And then I decided to, we'll come back to the scarf in a second, layer this navy jacket over the top. It worked really nicely in kind of playing into that slightly smarter element of the look, but equally it's got a relaxed feel to it in itself. And because this outfit on its own wouldn't keep me warm enough right now, I decided to chuck on a scarf with that. I actually also wore gloves as well in all of these looks. So if you do want to go and see that video over on my Instagram, I'm hoping by now that it'll be up there for you to go and enjoy. And as always, I'll leave the relevant links in the description box down below to the products from Again and Again Fashion. Now, I'm gonna get this stuff back into the wardrobes, get the house nice and clean, because this evening, actually Lydia comes home because she's been away. And so it'd be nice to get the house in a nice state, so it's nice and clean and tidy for her. Might even chuck the fire on, and then we can have an evening just relaxing and also just catching up to hear about what they've been getting up to over in Spain.
Didn't take you long, did it, mate, to fill that spot? And cuddles with your mummy. He's waiting for his dinner. There's only one thing on your mind, isn't there, Marshmallow? Just some food. Just some food.
It's an hour past.
Just some food. Just some food. Come on in. Hey, come on in.
I've just placed an order for a product that I was advised against doing, and I couldn't resist because I've spoke to a couple of friends who have advised against it. I spoke to a tradesman on site at the house who advised against it. I also spoke to a business owner in the building trade who felt that there shouldn't be an issue. And so nobody was 100% confident with what they were saying. Everybody was like, I wouldn't risk it. It was kind of a bit, everyone was a bit unsure. So in the shed, the ceiling I had planned, and I will now be executing the corrugated tin roof. I've gone online, I've found a Reclaim yard that I've got enough in stock that means that I can cover the entire ceiling in the shed and also in the bin cupboard section. I could have kept the wood cladding throughout, however I didn't know whether it would just make the room feel smaller because there wasn't a separation between the roof and the walls, and
I really liked the idea of breaking up those materials and also adding a little bit more texture and detail into the shed. Now I am aware that this is just a shed, but it is a space that when I go into, I want to feel comfortable in, I want to enjoy it. I will use that space when I'm cleaning my bee equipment and getting all the frames prepped for the season and stuff. So it isn't a space that I'm going to go in and leave. I will be actually doing work in that space. And so I do want it to be nice. It's another reason why I insulated it, because I probably will buy a little oil-filled panel rad with a timer, and I'll probably have that come on. So if I'm going out there to do a bit of work, then the room's warm in the sort of early spring, late winter season. So this kind of time, I might want to go out and do some prep work. It'd be nice to have that space, an enjoyable space to work in. The reason why I was advised against having the corrugated roof is condensation. Obviously, the material is metal. As we're coming into the warmer months, we of course have very cold evenings, but then very warm days. And condensation, as you're well aware, is when warm air collides with cold surfaces, we get a build up of condensation. Also humidity can be a factor. And I'll end up having condensation that drips onto the things that are in my shed, which I don't particularly see being an issue, because there isn't anything of sensitive or great value that will be left in that shed. I'm not going to be putting clothes in there or any fabrics that I'm concerned about. So most of the gardening equipment, it's durable. It's going to be okay to get a little bit wet, a little bit damp. However, it isn't ideal. So if it is really bad when I put this in, then we will have to rethink the plan. But I'm hoping that if we do end up with condensation, which I'm hoping we won't, because I have left that air vent that runs through the ceiling, and we have all of the eaves exposed to allow for that airflow. I'm hoping that that in itself, along with the insulation, the chipboard and the composite tiles, I'm hoping that the room itself won't condensate. And if it does, it will just be minor. So I've bit the bullet, I've made the move, and I'm either going to regret it or not. The good news is that I'm going to be doing the work myself, and so the cost element is just my time, and I'm willing to take that risk. And obviously I've had to pay for the corrugated tin, but aside from that, it will just be my time. And so that's what's going to go down and take place. The garden needs to have a little bit of a sort of spring clean. I need to go out there and tidy stuff up. The lawn needs cutting actually. That's probably not a bad time to give it a quick once over actually. Maybe in a couple of weeks, because we are due, as I'm sure many of you have heard, some very cold weather. So once that's passed, I'll probably go out, give the lawn a trim and start getting that ready for the summer. So just a little bit of an update really. I've made the order. It's set to arrive tomorrow or Thursday this week, and so as soon as that arrives, I'll be getting cracking on with that. I've got to do a little bit of work in the ceiling itself, just to pack out the two ends to give me a fix in, and then we're at a point then when the sort of base of the shed is complete. The internal walls are all done, the ceiling sorted, and then it's the fun bit. It's the organisation, the shelves, the units, and just sort of putting a structure and a plan in place to make that space as functional and aesthetically pleasing as possible. So yeah, I'm really happy with the progress of the shed. Every time I look out my window, I'm just so pleased with it. I feel like the guys, Nicholson's and NJF, have done an incredible job at executing our vision. So I am going to wrap this video up because I have a very busy day today and I need to focus. So as always, I'll leave the relevant links in the description box below. I hope you all have a great rest of the week and a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next Wednesday, 5 PM. Take care.